Yo, what's up guys? Bajheera here. So first of all, thank you so much for taking a moment to check out our new channel, currently just called Jackson Blayton, but it's essentially our Bajheera Gains channel. Really excited to sort of branch out a little bit with our channels and start a fitness focused channel. And as you guys know, I've always liked to combine the two of them throughout the course of time on our normal Bajheera Wow channel. But I think as time has gone on, there's two problems with uploading fitness content on the main channel. One, it seems to me that multiple video uploads a day, not necessarily optimal for the algorithm. And two, uploading two different types of content, one being World of Warcraft focused stuff, the other one being fitness related stuff. Even though it goes well really together for me, it doesn't seem like the YouTube algorithm really likes that. So in order for me to create the kind of content that I want and branch out in the directions that I want to go, I think a new channel makes sense. So that's what this is for. I've also been getting a lot of questions about what I'm doing with my diet right now. Doing a mini cut right now, first of all. Second of all, been doing plant-based, so kind of a big change there. What I want to do is show you guys basically what I'm doing for my mini cut and what it looks like when we move into a surplus while doing that plant-based. And when I say plant-based, I mean like mostly vegetarian, because I still have like dairy products from time to time. Like there's like whey protein that I take. There's whey protein in some of my favorite protein bars. Still sometimes have some like milk or yogurt, but haven't been eating meat for about like a year now. And I guess the reason behind that is I was eating like a lot of beef, like a lot of ground beef for a while. It was just making me feel kind of like, I don't know, it's like just slowing me down. And I've done plant-based before and I liked it. So I decided to do it again. Also to help cut down on the amount of cooking that Jenny had to do because she was pregnant. So, and then she, you know, once having the baby, didn't want to do a lot of cooking, which like I'm fine with that. So decided to start doing plant-based and that's been feeling really good for me. So been continuing that, and interestingly enough, the only two times that I've ever gotten rank 1 in WoW, it was while I was doing plant-based dieting, so good to know. Anyway, let's break down the basics of these meals. So let me show you what I'm working with just in general. As any successful meal prep situation, you're gonna need some tubs. I love these Pyrex bowls. So I'm pretty much right now gonna be making like 4 different meals. 3 meals is probably what I'm gonna be doing while I'm in a deficit. And then it's really easy to just add another meal to help me get in that surplus. And then once we need to increase the surplus further, it'll probably be a situation where I'm basically just adding more rice. A rice maker is gonna be super helpful. If you like eating rice, it's like a super easy carb, whether it's brown rice, white rice, wild rice, whatever. A rice maker is gonna really make your life easy. And I just got like all these fixins right here to work with. We'll put us back over here on this little stand right here. I'll show you what we're doing. So, I think that's a better angle, by the way. First things first, my meals are basically gonna come down to 2 packs of some kind of meatless protein. So, my favorite right now are these corn thingies, which are actually like a mycoprotein, so it's like a fungi, which is really neat. I also like Gardein products quite a bit. I've been eating a ton of Gardein, I've been eating a lot of tofu as well, so I'm really liking the corn right now. And I would say, let me grab a pair of scissors. I would say that the corn, to me, does the best job sort of feeling like meat. I don't really feel like I crave meat necessarily, but in terms of like just the feeling of it, like if you do corn plus broccoli, which is what I'm doing right now, it basically feels a lot like chicken and broccoli, which you don't have to eat chicken and broccoli. I know that's kind of like a stereotype, but that feels pretty good to me. So what these meals are basically gonna be is some sort of protein, some sort of green vegetable, and some sort of carbohydrate source. Now, I definitely recommend that you guys grab a food scale. Should have showed you that too. Grab a food scale, track your intake, makes a huge difference. But since we are just gonna be dumping basically all this stuff into 4 different meals, I can kind of eyeball a little bit and have an idea of what we're working with, right? So I'm just gonna divide up 1 pack of corn somewhat evenly into 2 different Tupperwares. I'm gonna do that for both of these bad boys. Just pour them on in. And then I'm gonna do the same thing with those 2 packs of broccoli. Just gonna throw some corn in there, throw some corn in there. Now, like I said, recommend that you guys grab your food scale and make sure that these are somewhat even if you guys are gonna be not eating, like if you're gonna be doing like 3 meals a day and then you have 1 left over and you wanna make sure that it's all even, you might wanna do that. But then I'm gonna grab these 2 broccolis, and frozen broccoli is fine, fresh broccoli is fine too. This is some kind of bird's eye broccoli. And then the other one is like just like a grocery brand broccoli. Do the same thing with these bad boys. I'm just gonna take a pack of broccoli and I'm gonna divide it about evenly into 2. Now I could take this whole thing and I could maybe even do it amongst 4 meals. If like the broccoli is getting a little too heavy and you're getting too brocked out, I might actually do that right now. Because I bet 1 pack is gonna be looking pretty nice in terms of the brock meter. Because if you just start pounding a bunch of broccoli, sometimes that fiber gets a little high. And I don't necessarily always love the feeling of like super brock, but if your calories are lower and your carbohydrates are lower, sometimes it feels good to get more vegetable in there. But I'm also probably gonna be throwing some shredded carrots in the mix at some point too, so I don't think we need to be going too crazy with the brock. Now, since we have these all like packed out, I'll show you what it looks like. Since we have all these sort of just like getting them out of the pack, I don't really feel the need to measure that too much. Like I said, I'm not going to eat this broccoli, so I am going to throw this back in the freezer. I don't want it to thaw out too much. We're just going to try the single brock, quad division brock, and I think that'll be good. I think that you definitely are going to want to measure out your rice. So we cook up a bunch of rice all at once. That's pretty much the only cooking we're doing really, is throwing the rice in the rice maker. Everything else I do in the microwave. I will mention that the corn turkey, you bake that and it's amazing. That is worth mentioning. So what I'm gonna do is I have 2 packs of corn divided into 4 meals. I have 1 pack of broccoli divided into 4 meals. And now to each one of these meals, I'm gonna add 1 cup of rice. Now, when I say 1 cup, I mean 158 grams. Measuring by volume, you can do that, but I don't think it's quite as good. So now is where we throw 1 pack on the food scale, you see? Throw 1 meal on the food scale. We're gonna do this 4 times. 1 meal on the food scale, tare it. Then we're gonna scoop out like 158 grams of rice per meal. Now, this is still gonna be putting me in a mini cut situation. The mini cut's been feeling pretty good. The reason I'm doing a mini cut right now is because we've been in a nice little surplus for a while, and still I was starting to get that like kind of heavy feeling, right? I was starting to feel like, I feel like I'm eating a lot of rice, eating a lot of carbohydrate. And by the way, it doesn't have to be rice, right? You can, for carbohydrate sources, my favorites are probably like rice, pasta, potatoes. Sweet potatoes are amazing. I don't always eat as many sweet potatoes, but sweet potatoes are awesome, and I'm looking forward to sweet potatoes for Thanksgiving. But anyway, throw some carbs in there. But the reason I'm doing the mini cut is just to kind of feel a little bit better. I think we're also kind of at a transition point where a lot of things that we were focusing on recently were like the WOW grind. We were going ham and WOW pretty hard. Succeeded in hitting rank 1, which is awesome. But just to kind of get my system back in rhythm, like instead of staying up late and grinding arena, we've been going to bed early, and I've been getting up early, and that feels really, really good. So the mini cut is just kind of to get myself back to like a good position to start the bulk again, rather than just continuing to hammer calories. And you don't have to do a mini cut if you are feeling like a little bloaty, like you're feeling like the food's not going in as smooth as you want, and you're getting like all like grody bloaty after you eat. If you're feeling like that, then you can just reduce your calories, and I could have done that. But I think my body fat, I usually feel pretty good at like, I don't know, like around 20%. If I start getting a whole lot like heavier than like 20% body fat or like 25%, I start to feel like not how I want to feel, and I start to look not how I want to look. And I've done higher body fat before, like when I was trying to like get real strong, like in 2017. If you go back and look at some of my PR videos on like squat and bench, that's a big boy. That's a big boy, and I don't need to be quite that hunky chunky right now. I like to be a little bit on the leaner side just to feel good. And I also don't necessarily want to be eating all that much food and just feeling all bloaty all the time, because having a little guy running around, I do want to keep up with him, and like having to eat and then immediately just like lie down afterwards. Like that's not really how I want to do it. So I think a mini cut has been good to me, and the strategy behind this right now is to add in a little bit more carbohydrate for training purposes. Even though I do feel pretty good on overall low carb. Hey sweetie, Jenny's here. Even though I do feel pretty good on low carb, I want to add a little more carbohydrate because I think my energy like throughout the day feels good on low carb, but the training feels way better with carbohydrates. So instead of doing like 2 cups of rice per meal, like I have done in the past, I'm just gonna do 1. And then I think 3 meals of this per day is gonna put me, like once I add like a serving of this, like just like a handful, that usually ends up being like 70 to 85 grams of carrots. Plus something that's important to mention is the sauce. So with a lot of these meals, like if you can just eat just like dry chicken or dry corn in my situation and broccoli and rice, like power to you. I need a little sauce. And I've experimented with different sauces over the years. Some ranch, some garlic expressions, as you guys have probably heard about. What I'm doing right now is I'm actually just doing hummus. I probably put about 2 servings of hummus, just like normal old, not garlic or anything, hummus in my meals. And that's about 140 calories with 2 servings. And that also gives me some fats, because my fats are gonna be a little bit low if I just do this. And fat is one of those things that you need. So get a little bit of fat in there, teeny little bit of carbohydrates, teeny little bit of protein. But one of the things that sauce does that some other sauces don't do is make me feel good. Like if I did like teriyaki, it has sugar in it. If I do ranch, that's pretty heavy with fat and sodium. I'm not afraid of sodium. It's just there's sodium in this too. It's just, it gives me a different feeling, you know. Part of what I'm trying to do right now with my food is eat food that allows me to accomplish my fitness goals, but also like gives me like good energy and makes me not feel like too bloaty grody. And so I can actually whip out my FitnessPal. So this gives you a pretty good idea of what I'm gonna do on a daily basis. I'm probably during the mini cut gonna do 3 meals, and as I transition into a surplus, which will not be very long from now, probably about a week or 2, I think my diet is scheduled to end exactly on Thanksgiving. So, but we'll see. I may actually have a nice couple of days of eating during Thanksgiving and then continue to stay a little bit leaner. But I can just bump that meal up, and then what happens after that is if I need more calories, I'll probably just keep the base in terms of the protein and the vegetables of this meal intact and just add rice to each meal. And then I can also do something like adding in some Greek yogurt. I like Chobani the best. I can add some Greek yogurt in at the end of the night. The Greek yogurt also requires some sauce. I'll put some like 0-calorie chocolate sauce on there. Walden Farms chocolate sauce. But if you have to settle for not Walden Farms, you can go with just like the super low calorie, like Hershey's syrup. That'll do too. Because you gotta get some sauce on there. I'm a sauce man. But yeah, let me tell you what we're looking at in terms of calories. You just pull up my FitnessPal right now. So with 4 meals, plus some protein bars. I like Think bars. The bodybuilding.com bars are as well. That can come out to, and like post-workout protein. Bodybuilding.com protein is fantastic, but for a different macro profile, we're actually just going with the good old muscle milk. And I can do a supplement update video soon. I wouldn't mind doing that. I don't want to get into that too heavily, but since muscle milk is mostly the source of calories, we'll include it in the day of eating. Like I said, not full vegan, not trying to be full vegan, just still having some dairy. But like a scoop or 2 scoops and a half scoop, because you know you're not going to do exactly 1 scoop. You're going to pow 2 big old scoops in a surplus. Once again, if you're going to be taking it seriously, you should measure out your scoops of protein as well by the gram. But anyway, start the day off, train, get some carbohydrates in my workout with Intracell 7. Once again, we'll include that in the supplement video. You'll see that in all my gym streams anyway. Have the BCAAs with the Intracell. That's going to be a little bit of calories. Post-workout, have 2 scoops of the muscle milk. Immediately after that, we'll have 1 of these meals. And then throughout the course of the day, we'll have 3 of these meals for the mini cut. 4 meals would put you in put me in a small surplus. And like 2 protein bars and like some yogurt will put you around 3,500 calories. Depending on what you add and subtract, I mean, you can play with your calories. If you have like more snacks, it could be around 3,500 calories. If you do a couple more, like 2 protein bars and some yogurt, be around 3,500 calories. And now each one of these meals, without the snacks and stuff, don't worry about that. Each one of these meals is about 638 calories. So if you wanted to go from about 3,500 or 3,300, if you drop out like one of the protein bars or whatever, just subtract one of these meals, it'll bring you down to closer to like 2,600, 2,700 calories. So you have a lot of room to play around with. That's, once again, once you start weighing your food, once you start using my FitnessPal, you're gonna be able to play with a lot of these things and really kind of measure out your calories and figure out how to hit your goals by just subtracting like a meal or subtracting parts of a meal or subtracting snacks. So 3,500 to 3,300 sounds pretty good for a surplus. I could probably pull down a little bit of those like protein bars, something like that, to be closer to 32. And I could probably just drop out one of these meals altogether to get down to closer to like 26, 27, 2,800 calories, which would be good for a deficit. But this is the basics, guys. This is super simple stuff. I know I talk about it a lot, but I'm excited to be doing fitness stuff again, so I'm getting chatty. I feel like I have a lot to catch up on. But 4 meals of basing your meals around a protein source and a green veggie, adding carbohydrate, and then get a little sauce on there for the fat. That's pretty much the basic idea. 3 or 4 of those per day for me is what I'm looking at. I'll probably throw in some protein bars. As a snack, I also might just do a protein bar at the end of the day because I like, for me, like the protein bars are kind of like a treat. They're chocolatey, they're good. Or we could just go with some Greek yogurt with a little chocolate sauce on there. Almost like a little bit of ice cream at the end of the day, but instead of it being a bunch of fat and sugar, it's just some like seriously good protein. So that's the basics. And that's what we're looking at for the next little bit. Probably gonna continue this in a mini cut for a couple more weeks, see how we feel, see how we look. I'm glad to be up in the carbs a little bit for better training. Training's been super fun recently. We've been tearing it up on the gym streams. Long, luxurious, just pump heaven workouts, man. Loving it. I think it's the going to bed early and getting up early, man. I'm feeling like I'm 20 years old again, getting 8 hours of sleep. Because Archer is sleeping like a champion. No more staying up late to do rank 1 push. Just gonna be in the groove, hopefully dieting down just a teensy little bit, and then working on making us some gains. But that's what my diet's looking like right now, team. Hope that is informative to you guys. Hopefully that's interesting to you. If things change, happy to make a updated diet video for you guys now that we have a place to do that. That's not gonna interfere with the rest of our content. But yeah, team, we'll wrap it up here. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks so much for watching. Let's grow this channel up and keep making gains together. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.